Daria, welcome to today's session of Applied AI. We are going to talk about LinkedIn in AI. And yeah, but first, before I get there, you won an award a while ago. Well, 2 weeks ago. So 3 weeks ago, again, time flies. Quickly tell us about that, and then we're going to dive into this. I just want to praise you for a little, and then we're going to go into this. So please tell us about the awards, and then we're going to dive into this.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. I did get the Global Startup Award as the Ecosystem Hero of the Year among 19 global winners in total and 71,000 nominations from 65 countries. Let that sink in. Am I using the proper AI cliche?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do that like the whole. I think we should do that throughout the whole episode. Is we should like
Bullshit bingo, right?
Yeah, we should like work in some random like AI stuff. You know, it's not a webinar problem. It's a finance problem. You know. Okay, that's the second one.
It's the speaker's problem.
Yeah. So, yeah, great. So, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
It was really amazing to walk up that stage. It only took me a few seconds, right? But it took me a few years to actually get to that stage, get to that moment. So that was just mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean I think that's also what happens, right? With ventures and everything, no one sees what happens behind the scenes, right? And the long night of grinding and all of that, you know. And but yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I give you a shout out on that. And that brings me a little bit about, I mean, you've already introduced, you've already said like what your award, but everyone, Daria is obviously, as you can recognize, a super celebrity on this webinar. Okay, celebrity. I can at least say celebrity on this podcast. And but yeah, I don't want to talk for you. So would you please introduce yourself a little and yeah, just give us a quick, for the people who don't know you, give us a quick TLDR about who is Daria.
Sure. I would be very curious, actually, who on this call is either part of my community, because I have a community of 1,000 people in 30 countries, or thank you for the hearts, or who follows me online. It's just it's always nice to understand who in the audience who in the audience does not need an introduction. But for those of you who do need an intro from my side, I'm Daria Komkalova. I'm based in Berlin. And on the one hand, I'm the founder of Venturing Women. It is a platform for emerging and early stage female founders and investors who back them. And also part of we run different types of events and programs. And part of this platform is also the community that I mentioned before. We are 1,000 people in about 30 countries. And sometimes I get so surprised when I see some phone's number and I look at the country code and I realize that's New Zealand. What are you even doing here, you know? Or, oh, I'm from Vancouver. Well, you should be sleeping now. So that's great to see how international it is. And on the other hand, I'm also an incubation program lead at WHU, the Otto Beisheim School of Business, or WHU for the German speakers on the call. I'm also an alumna of the school. And again, this program targets first-time female founders. And I'm also a content creator. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have produced 2 podcasts, one in German. Can you imagine? Back then I was a kamikaze as a non-native speaker. Yeah, but it did help me a lot to improve my German. Prior to launching that show, I used to think, oh, my German is very good. And then I heard myself speaking. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, yeah. The accent, the mistakes, yeah, all the bells and whistles. So I did produce 2 podcasts. I'm also an international speaker. And I'm an educator. I work with organizations, institutions that support early stage founders or people who transition from corporate to self-employment. And I also work with clients one-on-one, again, either early stage founders or people transitioning.
Amazing. And you said something about incubator, and I know that you and I have had a few chats about, because we also get involved with that here at the Delta and things like that. And there's always the question of incubator ops always comes up. So can you quickly tell us, like, I know you actually deploy AI in your incubator ops quite effectively. Can you give us a quick architectural map of how you deploy incubator ops with AI?
Sure. So I used Cloud Code, and I built some workflows to help me evaluate applications. Also, we had a selection committee comprised of 4 members, myself included, and I had to build a system that, for example, allow us to collect input from the selection committee members. So they would evaluate the startups, and they had to. I had to build a system to capture that input, and tables. I don't know, Notion tables, Excel tables. They can be quite messy. Yeah, and
I know that.
They're also easy to break. To be honest, that's not the problem. And another aspect that I want to take into account is how do I reduce bias? How do I make sure that people also assess different humans assess startups more or less in a similar way. So what I did, I built an evaluation portal, and So this evaluation portal would fetch the data from a Notion table that was connected to a Tally form. So the applications would flow through Tally to Notion. Then they would be fetched from Notion, and the selection committee would only see pre-selected startups. They would have the assessment scale. They would be able to assess the startups, put in all sorts of notes, and I would get the notifications once every selection committee member was finished with their assessment. And one of the jury members told me she found it so fascinating that she was very inspired to try to vibe code herself. And I thought that's a very nice side effect. And I deployed it all by myself. I don't have any technical backgrounds. And I would say, even in January, a phrase deploy on Vercel was something like Sesame open, What the hell it means?
What are these words you're stringing together,
Yeah, like everyone seems to use it like magic, but for me, I was pretty far away from that. But at the same time, I had been developing this very, very intense FOMO feeling, quite apocalyptic, I would say. I realized I was thinking all the time, unless I learn to use AI properly, and when I say properly, I mean agentically, right? Because I've been using ChatGPT. Like I used to have like a paid ChatGPT subscription since November or October 2023, and I thought I was cool. Okay, I thought that made me very cool until a certain point.
Yeah.
When I started realizing, no, I'm falling behind, and unless I start learning this tool agentically, so that's when I joined a course. And as a part of this course, I said, I need a project. I need something to work on. Bingo! I have this task, and I have this incubator that I'm launching. That's a great setup to streamline. So that's what I did.
That's totally that, and that's what I also say to anyone who always ask me where should they begin. I was also like, build something in your immediate life and that you can solve. But that brings me to one thing before I want to delve into the meat before that everyone is here for. On every episode, we want to ask what people want to see next. And now you mentioned deployment and Vercel. So we will put the poll on later today, but I would also try to get an idea of who would like a webinar of how to deploy your projects that you've coded, like how to deploy to Vercel, how to deploy to Render. Those, like, what do we mean when we say deploy and stuff like that? So I think if that is something that someone would want, yeah, then we
I'm
can
seeing lots of
definitely,
hearts, lots
yeah,
of
so we can definitely do a webinar of those. So yeah.
And
So
while let me hit Jacket just for a second. While you're using those emotion functionality, please drop in the chat what's the most burning, what's the most pressing issue for now for you now. Did I really hijack this one?
No. So people can't use the chat function, but they can use the Q&A function. They
Q&A,
can use
sorry.
the Q&A function.
Sorry, the
but,
Q&A.
But they can drop it in the Q&A. Like, they can drop it in there as well.
Yeah, please do so. But what's the, yeah, I'm very curious about the most burning topic for our audience. So I ran a survey this morning, and thank you so much to everyone who actually responded to my survey. So we collected 24 responses, which is good. And I asked you about your main goal on LinkedIn, and 69% of the audience said that the primary goal is to actually generate revenue and find customers. But we're many more people on this call with 46. So I'm very curious to see what are your struggles? What's the most annoying thing about LinkedIn? What pisses you off? You know, tell us.
I mean, I have a list.
You have a list. Great.
Yeah, so I think
apart from no fluff, right?
No fluff. So everyone can use the Q&A session, and just a Q&A section is on the bottom right of your call, and you can then just add in there, like, what is the things you find the most annoying on LinkedIn. And yeah, and while we go, we would like to, I mean, I know, yeah, this first one coming in is someone said, let that sink in, not the least. Yes, that's also my pet peeve. Let that sink in. Someone said it's like going into a market where everyone is screaming. I like that one too. Then someone said it's just noise. And how do we get heard? That's a good one. Like, how do you stand out in between all of this noise? I think that's a very good, and I think that's why a lot of people are here as well. My personal pet peeve is when anyone is, it's not a this, it's a that, or it's not a this problem, it's a that problem. That is my, and then also I think you also said on your LinkedIn, like that thing where it says the 3 words, right? Where it's like,
yeah, I think what we're talking about right now is a little bit about it's more tactics, and it's more those tropes that we don't have to use. But what I'm mostly curious about is what people try to do. So there is no shortage of advice on LinkedIn, how to be cool on LinkedIn. And if you read that advice and those recommendations, a lot of it won't work. So I'm curious about what you tried to test and maybe it didn't fly.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of engagement over here. There's someone who said that LinkedIn rewards sensationalism, it seems. I really just want to have good conversation with people and learn, and people don't want to talk anymore. That's the one where I think that's pretty good. Someone said they just want traction, and what are the basic requirements to get traction? There's another one where someone said, we try to get, and this is something I agree with, like we try to market our product effectively and authentically, and especially consistently. The last one is the hard one for me. And I think that is like the consistency, and also being consistently authentic is I think something that's definitely there. And this one I also wonder about a lot, is how do we still keep our personality, stay authentic, but streamline the LinkedIn writing to be more efficient? And yeah, so that is the main things that we're picking up now. So yeah, Daria, over to you.
I'm putting down a list. Great. So I think where we have to start, and I will try to respond to all of these questions in the course of our conversation. I think where we have to start is that our work with AI, when it comes to LinkedIn, begins not with AI at all. It starts from the basics, specifically, what do I want to achieve? What is your goal? And that's exactly why I sent you that survey earlier today and asked you, like, what is your primary goal? And I deliberately didn't make it a multiple choice. I only said, okay, you can only choose one, pick. And of course, you may have different goals, but it's very hard to focus on multiple goals. And it takes time, to achieve any of those. So I would say start with your goal and try to reverse engineer, like how would we get there? And then an interesting exercise that you can do is that you can download your profile on LinkedIn. And then if anyone doesn't know how to do that, I'll quickly show it. But it's pretty easy. You just go to profile. Maybe shall I show it?
Please.
I can quickly share my screen. Let's see. So. All right. So you just go to your profile, you click on resources. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, go to resources. Yeah.
So you just go to save to PDF, and that's it. And you have a PDF version of your profile. And it's an extremely valuable resource that we will be working with later. So you do that, and then you upload your profile to your favorite AI tool. In my case, it's Claude. I canceled my ChatGPT subscription, I think, in March, and I just completely switched to Claude. You upload it to Claude, and I ask, you ask a very simple question, like type in a very simple prompt. Looking at this profile, what would you think is the main goal of this person while posting online? So, what is the main goal of the LinkedIn presence of this person for the next 3 to 6 months?
And that's sometimes, it can be uncomfortable because the answer you get from there might not be what you want, right?
Absolutely. And I hosted a workshop on a similar topic last week. No, what was it? 2 weeks ago. And I actually, I invited people to do this exercise with strangers. So you swap profiles, you show your profile to a stranger who doesn't know anything about you, let them look at it for 20 to 30 seconds, not more, because nobody spends more than 20 to 30, even 30 seconds. It's quite generous, right? So, and then you ask the stranger what they think you do, what they think you offer, what they think you're trying to achieve on LinkedIn. But that stranger can be also your favorite AI tool. So you can try to do it right now. It's super easy. And I think a lot of the things that we will be discussing today are absolutely not rocket science. And most of the people on this call, myself included, I would say 95% of people on this call do not need rocket science. We need sustainable systems that work, right? So the first thing you do, consistently and authentically.
And authentically.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys get. Maybe you can even drop it in the Q&A. I don't know, Vainan, do we want to see the results or we don't? Because I would be curious.
I would like us to get to. I mean, if someone wants to drop their results, it can be great. But I would actually like to, while we do that, I would
Mhm.
like us to go to like if we want to create like a foundation
Yeah.
of like where to begin. So you said now the PDF that you download, like what is the next step? So because I essentially want to structure it where it's like, okay, we're going to discuss what it is to me, the create a foundation, and
Yeah.
then what is the one level up, and then what
Yeah.
is the
Sure.
Super
Let's do that.
Saiyan
Sure.
level
Let's
from
do that.
there.
So
Yeah.
we start with the basics. First of all, we identified
Yeah.
our goal. Then we downloaded the profile, and then I would suggest to query your AI tool with the following: analyze this LinkedIn profile and tell me which 3 to 5 topics you would expect this person to cover.
Interesting.
Then
Okay.
look at the results. If the results more or less match your content, what you're posting, this is great. Why? Because LinkedIn updated the algorithms, and right now they pay much more attention to how much your profile and your content are connected.
Ah, okay.
Why
I
is
did
that?
not know that.
Why is that?
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you say I'm a marketing expert and everything you talk about is dog food, I don't know, random stuff.
Okay.
Your updates will be deprioritized because they want to promote content that's coming from people that have expertise. So simply
Ah,
said, they want to promote content coming from people who know what they're talking about. So
okay.
if there is a disconnect between your profile and your updates will see
Yeah.
like worse reach, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense because I can also, now that I think about it, if I think about just my posts that have just gone like over and above the posts that from the other ones, I can exactly see which ones they are. And it makes sense. So that, I mean, great tip. Like, and so then I would guess the next step would be is to, if your profile does not match what you want to put out there, then maybe that is your first step that you must address, right?
Correct. So you have to make sure that your profile actually matches what you want to cover, and essentially your profile is your landing page as well, right? So it doesn't make any sense to post content. So if we think about content, the goal of the content is to convert attention into action.
Yeah.
And for that,
Yes.
you need to bring your audience from an update to something. And sometimes it will be very clear CTA. So for example, visit my webpage or something else, or attend my event, la la la. But in most cases, that will be the next thing that people will check out will be your profile. And if your profile is unclear, if it does not convert, it's a wasted effort.
Yeah.
So
And
you
that
need
is
to.
where, sorry, go for it.
So that's why the next step would be to actually ask again AI to help you improve your profile. So help you work on the headers, help you work on the about section, maybe the banner, the featured tiles. Featured tiles are one of the, I think, most underestimated and underused tools.
100%. And that is what I actually got because I also did an experiment. I was not as smart as you with the PDF. I just went into my Claude Cowork and I said, use my Chrome browser, go
You
to
can do that
this,
too. You can do that too.
go to my LinkedIn profile and go through it and give me, and the feature section is also the first thing that it picked, where it was like, your feature section needs this and this and this. And it said that my feature section doesn't match my header, what I say there and what is featured. And so that I know, like even from my own experiments, was the first thing that came up.
True. It has to be very easy for people to make the next step. They already made a step. They're already browsing. They're already checking you out. So what's next?
Yeah.
Do they understand? Do they get how? Because you see, expecting people to send us a DM or send a contact request, maybe it's a little bit too much. It can be quite a barrier. So we need to figure out what's an easy next step for someone who does not necessarily want to immediately connect with me. Maybe they will sign up for a newsletter. Maybe they will check out your website. Maybe they will take a quiz. Anything. Just tell them what to do.
And do you? And here's a question I've always had: should your featured section have your most, let's call it your most engaged with content on there, or your latest content? What's your opinion on that?
I think there are two approaches here. So you can, again, depends on your goals. You can either pin your most popular updates. If these updates broadcast a certain message, for example, you won an award, right? And then you are the startup founder of the year, and you want people to see that you got this credential, right?
Yeah.
But a second approach would be to create customized tiles. I'm going to show you again.
Yeah.
All right. So, for example, this is my profile right now. Right, and you can see that my featured section, like in May and June, I had in total, I think, 5 speaking engagements, and I decided I want people to know about those talks, and I want them to join. I even created this temporary tile. Generally speaking, usually it's mostly work with me and book me as a speaker and moderator, and then there is another sign up for the newsletter. So it's up to you. It can be your website. It can be it even can be, if you're fundraising, for instance, it can even be a link to your pitch deck if you're comfortable with sharing your pitch deck like that. Or it even can be a short video of you talking about your business. I don't know, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. So that's
that is great, because I almost think that these 3 tiles is, from just how I've seen you now use it, is that's your 3 main messages you want to give, or the 3 main messages you want to quickly communicate with someone landing on there. That first 3 seconds, and also give them something to engage with if they're not ready to send it in, right?
Yeah, or extra details that they may want to check out. So that's the next step. And then what we do next, we need to make sure that we stay consistent. We need to figure out what is signal versus what is noise, right? So what is the message that our ICP, ideal customer profile, what people expect from us to hear. So what kinds of signal from us will make them do something? I don't know. Sign up for a newsletter, or maybe reach out to talk to us. And once we identify what exactly people are expecting from us, I think what is important for founders particularly, so the majority of people who sign up for this call I've seen are founders. Typically, you don't have much time. Typically, it's a little bit of a catch-22 situation. So you don't have time, energy, and headspace to create content, right? But at the same time, since you're not doing that, it's harder for you to win customers and potential investors and partnerships. So to make this easier, we need systems and we need context. So prior to quitting my job, I spent more than a decade in data, in the data industry, building data products, a global data marketplace, helping companies monetize their data. And in the data industry, there is a very nice saying, shit in, shit out. Sorry for my French.
No, that is very much expected here.
Exactly, exactly. So that's what we need to avoid. That's what we need to avoid. So how do we? That's what also makes the AI output so sloppy. You know, so it's generic. So we need to make sure that we make it less generic, that we make it more us, right? And for that, we need to religiously, I'm going to emphasize it, religiously collect context.
I like that.
What does it mean? It means that we need to capture as much data and feed it into the model, so that the model understands who we are, what we do, what we want, how we speak.
And that is something where I always say that even with the work we do, is that context gathering is not something you do once and then it's done. It's a consistent thing. You have to consistently, and like you say, religiously give your models context, and like it can only get better like that, because a context model is also like when it just has something here in the beginning, it's gonna, as it goes towards, as time goes on, it's almost like it loses a bit of it over time. It goes like that, and it starts filling in like blanks over there. So again, 100% agree with you, that constant like feeding it. So yeah, 100% agree.
Imagine hiring an intern and then telling them, just build a website for us. The output will be crap. Or imagine hiring a marketing agency and telling them, build a, I don't know, an advertisement campaign for us. Without any context, the output will be a lot of burned money for nothing, right? So how do we collect context? Depending on how active you are on LinkedIn. If you're already active on LinkedIn, and I'm very curious to see, just don't lie, don't pretend, no cheating here, please. But send an emoji if you're already posting at least once a week. Consistently, people, consistently.
Okay. I do. Okay,
You do.
So
all right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So who has been posting consistently at least once a week in the last 3 months? Okay, quite a few people. That means you have already collected a lot of context. So you can download your LinkedIn archive if you haven't done so. So I'm curious to see now. Please again use the reactions. Who is already using their LinkedIn archive as context? 1, 2. That's substantially fewer likes. Okay, let me show you what we're going to do here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm super glad we're recording this, by the way, because I'm going to look at this again when we're done here.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use that as context too. So
yes, right.
So we're gonna go to our profile, to settings and privacy, then data privacy here, download your data, and then download the archive. I've just requested a new one, and you need the complete one.
Okay.
You request. Okay, so it doesn't show me the full one. Let me. Yeah. Okay. So that's what you'll see. You'll see download my data. You need to choose to download the larger data archive. You request the archive, and it will be available to you in 24 to 48 hours, I think.
Okay.
It's a little bit tricky because it's somewhat hard to find the posts. You need the file that is called shares.
Shares.
Yes.
Okay.
It will arrive as a CSV. So right now, in my archive, I think it's about 1270, and I began posting in 2012.
Okay.
It's also an interesting archaeological exercise, just to see
person, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. On the one hand, but on the other hand, I was looking at some of my very old posts, and I realized that a lot of my writing style hasn't changed much. That was very curious too, to see. So you need that archive as context, and that can help you create your tone of voice. You can ask Claude to create something like a tone of voice, like your vocabulary, describe how you write. And when you're creating your updates, you can use that archive as a reference.
Yeah. I want to add here, one thing that I've learned in teaching Claude context as well is when you do give it something to train on, you must almost let it check its own work. Where you say, tell me the patterns you're seeing. Yeah. Tell me some, don't just give it a bunch of data and say, learn from this. You should say, ingest this file, look for patterns, tell me what you see, tell me what patterns you see. Like, you must almost like quiz it on the data set, because I've realized that in that case, it actually, when you let it then check its own work, it's just so much better at, let's call it, remembering.
I think it's always it's almost a routine to ask it to double check its own work, right? Because it will always find some gaps or mistakes very often. I would also say that you can ask, you can also limit this archive. For example, if you quit your job, let's say, I'll use my example. I quit my job 4 years ago. The updates that I was posting before 2022 are substantially less relevant. They're almost irrelevant to what I'm doing now and what I'm building now. So unless I make this cut and tell Claude, okay, don't use anything before 2022, don't focus on these and these topics, it will be noise for the model.
Yeah, totally. And you also don't want, and that's also the thing, it's like with context, you want to be really clear to exclude something that should not at all be in there. Like context is as much as an exclusion exercise as an inclusion exercise.
100%.
It's very, very, those things. I just quickly want to, someone asked something pretty interesting now in the Q&A. It's like, do you use Claude Code to analyze this data, this archive, or Claude Cowork, or just standard Claude Chat? What is your workflow? How does it look like there?
Well, until I would say March, I saw that I would never use Terminal. I was scared of Terminal. It looked like a black box. And then I began learning it more and more, and I got used to that. So right now, I mostly use Terminal. Depending on the type of work I do, sometimes I also use Cowork. If I need something a bit easier, like more graphic, or like the interface is just easier, right, for the eyes, but it's mostly Terminal. Back to the topic of context, anything you can capture, anything that has your original thoughts or your insights, try to capture it, which means transcribing calls, not rocket science again, but what you can do, for example, I'm gonna use the transcript of the Ask Me Anything session that I recently hosted, and I'm gonna share it. Share the screen here. Where's my terminal?
While you're doing that, I also picked up that transcribing all. I mean, we have a policy, or not a policy, but we have a very strong guide now in the Delta to transcribe all our calls, because then we can use our agents to essentially like also track down decisions that were made and stuff like that. But I have picked up that you start to pick up different, especially like it was quite interesting when it was on a project that I was with someone, and we have transcribed a lot of calls, and I asked something about this project, and Claude said to me, this person is working on this project, his nickname by the team is this, and you might want to approach him like this and this. It was like wild, you know, what Claude can learn from your transcripts.
True, and also a human memory is very limited. So our capacity to store the details of conversations is very limited as well. And I've had those situations too, where I could just query a transcript and say, "Hey, I don't remember exactly, but this is the vague description of what we were talking about. Please extract the full story." Magic. So I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah.
So what we can do, transcribing our calls, anything, literally anything that we can capture, but calls are the easiest. Let me share. And by the way, if you're not using Whisperflow yet, you should start doing that.
I have questions about that, but I'm going to leave it till the end of the call because I can see a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started using Obsidian to capture context.
I'm a big fan.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Obsidian. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just created this little folder here for the demonstration purposes. So these are two recent workshops about LinkedIn, about content that are hosted. So they would be very relevant to what we're talking now. So what I can do, I can just go to terminal and say, hang on a sec. Nope, not okay. Extract the most interesting insights that I shared on this call, contrarian views, anything that would be helpful for entrepreneurs, either raising funding or trying to generate revenue with the help of LinkedIn content. And then what I would do, I would just add copy paste, system root, bump.
While it is saying skill there, we've been considering having one of the webinars of just creating flawed skills. If anyone's interested in that in the future.
That's what I did too. So when I was running the selection process for the incubator, I also created skills that helped me analyze the transcripts of the calls. And what was interesting was the difference in judgment. So what would AI pick up versus what I would pick up in my interaction with founders? And sometimes it was it was fascinating to see the gap in perception, AI versus human. All right, so let's see. So you can see here that Claude found a few takes that are worth sharing on LinkedIn, and it's about how viral does not equal revenue.
Nice.
Something about fundraising. More full content means mid-funnel.
Okay.
So there is top funnel, mid funnel, and bottom funnel. And sorry, then for revenue, LinkedIn to customers. Okay, again, top funnel, mid funnel, bottom funnel, the layers, and practical system, how to capture post ideas instantly. And we can talk about that too, because we said, how can we stay consistent with our postings? But now I can use these insights, these takes, to actually convert them into full-fledged updates if I want.
So that brings me to my next question. Like, if you want to say, okay, cool, we've got the basics down. If we want to take this because taking this to the next level is just like having your context just like absolutely on point. How does your context, I've got some ideas about how I would run it, but how does your context libraries typically work? Is it a GitHub with MD files linked to Obsidian? How does your context library update and look like, or your flow for context look like typically?
Yeah. So as I've said, I've relatively recently started building this vault in Obsidian, and for those of you who's not familiar with Obsidian, it's essentially a system of folders that stores text files, and the format of those text files is called MD, Markdown, and Markdown files are it's the best format that works for LLMs. So it's very structured, lightweight. So if you want to feed a lot of data into LLMs, so Markdown files are great for that. But at the same time, I've been working for years with Notion, right? So my content calendar, it's all on Notion. So what I do, and that goes back to creating a system that works for you, you need to learn to capture content ideas. Our brains already generate a lot of content ideas. We just need to learn to capture those. And we need to come up with a very easy system to do so. The problem that a lot of people have, with punching something into Apple Notes or something similar, it's impossible to find stuff there. Impossible.
Yeah.
It's easy. The input is easy. The output is non-existent, pretty much. At some point, I realized that I had 143 unpublished notes in my Apple Notes. Like, what do you even do?
Yeah.
Like, how do you use that?
And that's the thing. And I think that thing you said, because I know I'm guilty, like, oh, I'm typing something in Apple Notes. I think it's because I think it's the thing with the least amount of friction.
Correct.
Right? So if you want to create a context library, what is the thing with the least amount of friction to gather information? And I think that is where you should start. Essentially, that is, and different things work for different people, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to share what works for me. So I work with Notion. I have a shortcut on my phone that immediately opens a page in my database, which is called Content Calendar. Okay. And this page has a predefined structure. And yeah, it did take me a little bit of time to get used to that whole interface. But it also allowed me to capture my thoughts in a way that I can then extract them. Okay, so not just collect them, but also extract them. But if I show you my Notion, so this is it. Okay, I'm going to show you my content calendar. You will see it only partially solved the problem. Dun, dun, dun. And
so while you're bringing that up, I just want to let everyone know that we put the poll live of what we want to see in the future. So you can also check that out. We put some things that we discussed throughout this webinar now on there. You can vote in the poll about what you would like to see next. But yeah, just while we wait for you to bring up your Notion.
Yep. It's a bit slow today. I'm sorry for that. Okay. I asked people to share their decks with me because I wanted to do a very cool demo, but I'm not sure if we have the time for that. We'll see. All right. Okay. So as you can see, I have a lot of notes. So there's a calendar view. This is by status. No status means I just punched something in. A thought means that it was literally just a thought. It can be just one sentence. But I saw this sentence, that sentence was still valuable enough to be captured.
I love that.
Then there is this backlog. That means that I kind of decided to work on this. And then there is stop. It means that it's funny that it starts every morning I suck. Yeah. What I meant that every morning I open LinkedIn and I realize how much I suck because somebody raised their round, somebody is operating a swarm of agents and I'm just human. Somebody mentioned that in the beginning that everyone screams on LinkedIn, right? So these are more or less like text that have some substance. So I started working on them and oh my God, this is so slow today. I don't know why. Anyways, as you can see, yeah, so for example, 25 post ideas for employees, So there is some text here. As you can see, if we do the math, it's 149 notes in no status, 82 here, 66. You may be sitting there thinking, oh my God, I don't have that much content. Right now, maybe, but once you build the habit and once you train it as a muscle, you will notice how your head generates content ideas all the time. It's a matter of practicing capturing those ideas and then working on them. But it's still too much. Like, what do I even do with these things? I don't even remember they exist anymore, right? So what I can do, though, I can say, let's say, co-work, new task. All right. So check my content calendar on Notion and identify any stubs, any notes that talk about sports, and make any comparison between sports and building a business. Let's see if it will ask me. So it just helps me to find the right, I'm not sharing, okay. Wait a sec. Because I'm using
we're on your Notion.
Yeah, but I'm using another screen, sorry for that. So now you can see I just use this very simple prompt, and it's looking for the right drafts. And once it finds the right drafts, I can also ask it. I think this is one of the biggest, again, one of the most underutilized features of AI. Instead of trying to use AI to replace our voice, we should, in fact, use it to help us extract our thoughts. So we can ask AI to, instead of writing a text for us, we can ask it to help us craft the text, crystallize our thoughts, interview us as a journalist would interview us. Even if you don't have, like, sometimes it happens to me, like I have this fleeting idea and I'm struggling with nailing it. It's just like I think I'm onto something, but I don't understand what exactly that is. So I would sit down, I would talk to Claude, and I tell it, okay, this is my vague idea. Act as a journalist, ask me questions, help me crystallize this idea.
I like that. And I think that's where there's a very, to me, salient point that you've made, like, which is one of the most important things I think that someone should take away from this, is like, I think a lot of time when we see things on LinkedIn that is very flat, I call it very flat, it's when someone is trying to let AI do the thinking, but with their voice, where you should do the other way around. Like, you should let AI extract your thoughts instead of trying to get it to mimic your voice, you know? And I think that is like, knowing the difference between those two is critical in this endeavor, right? In LinkedIn.
It's very slow right now. I'm not sure why, but
I love that you're using Cowork. So, because I'm all a big fan of Cowork. I know it like, to me, that's, I always say, to me, Cowork's the closest you can get to OpenClaw in a safe way.
Yeah, maybe it's my connection, because I tested it again today just to make sure that everything works, but for some reason it's very slow. Anyway, so what it will bring back is all the stubs that you have, all the drafts that mention sports somehow, and then you can choose and select what you want to work on, and that helps you to, so it kind of alleviates this pain. First of all, I need to come up with content all the time. Just dump it into a system that you can't connect to Claude. Maybe it's Notion, maybe it's something else. All right, so let's see, stubs in my content calendar. business pages grow 20 times slower than personal, and then I can pick and choose. And this time it didn't include the links, but I didn't ask for that either. But now I have something to pick from.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's also like, it gives you quite a few, because from there you can essentially go draw a little bit deeper and even create some sort of a content calendar where you want to like post from this and create like a series of posts and things like that.
Yeah, so this is what mine looks like. And again, on the left-hand side, what you've seen was everything that was unpublished. And of course, there is also the published part. Oh my God, it's so slow. Yeah. Oh my God, okay. Let me see. Yeah, okay, so that is mine. And again, it's very structured. So you can see that I have, for example, I have the status. Sometimes I put scheduled, but in fact it was published. It's just I need to update it, and I need to actually maybe build an agent to update it. The categories, the tone, the type, like everything's here. So it's all here.
Yeah, I like the fact that you link those two. Like it works quite well in Notion, I see.
It's very visual.
It's,
it's very easy, and then you can play around with the views. You know, I can build and rebuild it. It's super fast. Unfortunately, Obsidian, by definition, you know, that by design, it's not very visual. It's good for storing text data. It's not good for building views, you know, or playing around with formats. No.
We are running a little bit out of time. I want to quickly have like a quick Q&A. Like I'm going to select like 2 or 3 that I think has got some easy answers over here. And then I want to have the last question that I have for you.
Okay. Can I just share something that I was gonna do?
Yeah.
So I asked in my email today, I asked the brave hearts, the bravest people in the room, to share their pitch decks with me because I want to demo something. Do you want me to still demo?
Let's go. I mean, we are recording, so if someone needs to drop off, that's perfectly fine. We are recording. We can go for another hour if you want, you know. So
no. I still have my yoga session tonight.
Okay, cool. We'll get you to yoga in time. Let's go.
Okay, so I have the pitch deck. So let me share again because I think it's a cool exercise. And again, it's
let's go for it.
It's not rocket science. Okay, where's my prompt? And I can share some of these prompts. So I created. Ultimately it's a little bit of a big prompt. But here's the idea: you upload your pitch deck. And even if you're not raising right now, but let's say you're a founder, you're building a startup, even if you're bootstrapped, you have a pitch deck, right? Everyone who shared the pitch deck said that they're primarily focusing on getting customers and generating revenue right now. So you upload a pitch deck, you paste your LinkedIn profile, and then you also indicate the main goal. Like, are you raising? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for customer? What's in it for you? And then you ask Claude to analyze it from the standpoints of insights. So what are the insights that people need to know about your startup? Like, why your team, why your product, anything that you know about the market that other people don't know, why now, things like that. What's your secret sauce? Why you're the right people to build this solution, or why this product is better than anything else. Then you go to, you will need a Chrome plugin for that, but you install the Chrome plugin, Claude plugin for Chrome, and then you can scrape the either scrape your last updates or just use your archive. If I had to scrape them because, of course, I don't have access to other people's archives, so this is what I did. But you can just use your archive, and then ask Claude to analyze the delta. What you're supposed to be talking in your confetti. What you're supposed to be talking about and what you're actually talking about. Okay, so let's do
cool.
that. Let's do this exercise. Okay, let me share my screen again. Sure. Okay. All right. So as I've said, a few people shared their pitch decks with me, and let's use pitch deck, and also let's take the LinkedIn profile. No, I need to find it. Sorry, I should have saved the link.
No, all good.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so this is my prompt. And attached. Wait, nope. It's very slow, Jesus Christ. Okay. So customers. So and while it's working here, I'll walk you through the prompt, and I can also share it as a file. So the analysis. So what do we want to do? We want to identify the insights that we can deliver as founders, right? What is the solution? What makes it defensible? As I said, like why this product? Why now? Why this market? Then we also want. Let me see. Yeah. So I'm seeing that in parallel, Claude is using Chrome to browse the updates of Dalma, and actually, so 3 people shared their pitch decks with me, and it was interesting. So once I first started looking into other pitch decks and other people's profiles, and Claude quickly hit a brick wall, and it turns out that these 2 other people, they only had maybe 3 to 5 updates in the last, I don't know, 6 months, which were their original updates, and the rest were reposts. So I couldn't really run a proper analysis, but here we'll have quite a bit. So I'm asking to scrape Dalma's LinkedIn updates. If you're doing it for yourself, as I've said, you can just use the archive. And then what we're mapping how much your updates are talking about what they're supposed to talk about, how much they target the audience that you want to target, and if there is a clear CTA.
Okay. Can you share the screen of your
Yeah. It's working. So, and then the gaps. So you can see the gaps here. Again, it's about the audience, about the positioning. It's about the best performing posts, like what are your darlings, and what's missing in your communication strategy right now. So let's see. It's still working. Okay. And then this is the lens. So if you're raising,
can you? Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, I'm sure. You don't see?
I don't see your screen now.
It's strange. Oh, now it's disabled.
Oh, let me quickly check there.
The share button is disabled on my side.
I wonder if it's because we're over time. Hold on. Let me quickly check if I can.
So you were not seeing anything I was showing. Oh, so sad.
Hold on. That's weird because you are. You are a co-host. Hold on.
Now it says presentation is starting. This is a glitch.
Oh. It says
This-
presentation is starting.
Yeah, it says presentation is starting, but it's inactive.
Oh.
I cannot even start it.
Let me check here. Cannot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove you as co-host and then
Okay.
make you a co-host again.
Great, let's try this.
Hold on. Yeah, try that.
Okay, let's see. Still inactive. Something broke.
Oh. Yeah, that's so weird. Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting. Because we could see your screen earlier.
Yeah. I cannot even press anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, folks, the idea is that Claude will highlight this delta. So, for example, if you're saying, and I'm gonna also share another prompt with you after the call. You can say, okay, my goal is this and that. Your value prop statements. So if you formulate your value prop statement, for example, I or my company helps X, which is your customer, to solve Z, which is the problem of the customer, with the help of Y, which is the your competitive advantage, and then it will compare what you're talking about in your updates and what you could be talking in your updates based on your pitch deck.
Yes.
Because the data is already there. This is also context.
Yeah, and it's again that thing. It's like you must constantly feed it, right?
Yeah. Or what you can also do, you can also set up a call with yourself and do an extended version of your pitch. Record
I've done
it.
that as well.
Yeah, record it and then extract those insights and let Claude find the right angle for you. So, okay, so this is my goal. So my customers expect me to see proof of work. My customers expect me to see the output. My customers expect me to see how exactly my product solves their problem. And then based on that context, you will see that, okay, currently I should be talking about this, but in fact, most of my updates about that. There is a disconnect.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the algorithm is going to work against you, right?
Yeah,
As you
I mean,
said earlier.
maybe you're still talking, maybe your updates is still aligned with your profile, but they do not convert because you're talking about things that by definition will not bring you the leads.
Yeah, no, totally. No, I agree. And I think that's also the thing. I think sometimes it sounds so stupid, right? It's like you must talk about the things that's, like you said, that CTA, right? Where and make sure that and that's the thing I like that you said as well. Like even if you set up a call with yourself and just talk through it and just like getting that context and that ideas, and that's just another way of creating context, right? Creating context for it to pull from and maybe then show like what you're thinking currently and what your clients are expecting and what you're saying on LinkedIn. Those things are not the same.
Yeah, it can be this. It can be also, okay, you have a full week of calls and you record at least some of them. And then by the end of the week, you ask Claude to go through these transcripts and say, and again, identify something unique that you haven't spoken about, or maybe questions, your customers' questions that you responded to. And then be a journalist and ask follow-up questions.
Yeah. So I like that thing that you said about be a journalist. I like that prompt.
Because the best, like one of the most important roles of any journalist is to be able to extract stories, extract insights, extract learnings, and package those insights into something digestible for others.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. So Daria, I want to get you to yoga. So I'm going to do two questions. one from our audience. And while I'm doing the Q&A, can everyone please check the poll and vote on what you would like to see next? But there was one question from the audience, which I think was quite good. Is it worth to get LinkedIn Premium?
Again, depends on your goals. I would say, how much does the cheapest premium cost now? Do you remember? Because
why do I think it's 30 euro?
30
why do
euros.
I think it's that? I know it's 600 South African rands.
Oh,
If for a South African,
it's a very useful piece of data.
We have a big South African audience. It's 600 rand, so that converts back to 30 euros.
30 euros.
Yeah.
I think if you can, if you treat LinkedIn not as a content platform, not as a vanity project, but as something that generates leads, and if you can actually be consistent, and being consistent means what? If you, I mentioned that earlier. If you post at least once a week, you're in top 1% of all LinkedIn users. Let it sink in.
Let that sink in. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you treat LinkedIn not as a vanity project, not as a content platform, but as a lead generation machine for you, I think it's well worth having a premium. I wouldn't go for the sales navigator unless you want to run like cold outreach and all this stuff. But even having a premium, it gives you more insights, it gives you more analytics, it gives you, it allows you to see who viewed your profile. I think that's also,
it does.
Yeah,
it does, yeah.
And people who have viewed your profile are warm leads.
Yep.
So if you work in B2B and you see that somebody has checked your profile and this is your ideal customer profile, reach out to them. You don't have to be salesy, God forbid, to pitch. No, don't do that. Ask something neutral. What I do, for example, if I see that somebody checked my profile, I can drop, and this is my ICP, I can drop them a line and ask, hey, I've seen that you viewed my profile. Can I be of help? What piqued your curiosity? If you don't remember, and I usually include this kind of, caveats. If you don't remember, it's okay. Happens all the time. People view a lot of profiles. They're not obliged to remember everyone. I'm not that much of a celebrity. So that opens the door. A lot of people will not respond, but some will respond. And since they see that you're not trying to sell them something straight away, they're acting as humans, they will be also more inclined to have a conversation.
Yeah. And then my last question that I'm going to end off with is, what is the top thing or things people should not do with LinkedIn and AI, in your view? What's your absolute no-go?
I think an absolute no-go, regardless of AI, is to post for the sake of posting, because this easily leads to burnout. Again, people want to stay consistent, and then they start thinking, okay, I need to post, I need to show up, I need to post twice a week, 3 times a week, even once a week for some people is too much. If you keep posting, if you keep producing that content and see no result, just posting without putting strategic thought into the process, you will burn out because it will crush your dopamine system. Our dopamine system is wired in a way that we want to see outcomes. And if you post and see no outcomes, it will hurt. Yep. And ultimately you will give up, and then you'll have a break, and then you will be frustrated, and then you will start again, and the merry-go-round goes on and on and on.
And I think, again, that's where I think a lot of people make mistakes. They want to automate LinkedIn to such a space where they essentially have to do no thought and no thinking and no intent. And I don't think that's the end goal for good engagement, right?
No. And please don't use AI for commenting. Jesus Christ.
Oh no, please don't do AI commenting. It's so obvious. It's so obvious when you see AI comment.
And on top, if a lot of people use AI to comment under a post, this post will be deprioritized in the feeds. So if I post something and a lot of people use AI to create those automatic comments, I will start deleting them because I don't want my post to be deprioritized.
Ah, that's a super good tip. Because I've seen people like, I've got some AI responses on my post as well.
Yeah, that's why, a lot of creators, they began deleting those shitty AI generated comments because for the LinkedIn algorithm, this is a sign that, your content is poor. It only attracts those bots. Yeah. People, like real humans, don't want to engage with your content.
That, I think, is the tip of the month, almost.
So if you really want to build a relationship with a creator, or anyone for that matter on LinkedIn, using AI to generate comments defeats the purpose. Because if that creator knows about this dark side of the algorithm, about comments, they will see you as someone who hurts them.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to build a connection.
Yeah, no, I 100%. That was the greatest tip. I'm going to start deleting AI comments now. So, yeah, Daria.
I have a question. I have a quick question for our audience, because you say that was a great tip. I'm very curious. What was the best tip for them? Use the Q&A for that. Please. Like what was insightful? What did you learn? What was the most helpful bits for you today? Because I think on the one hand we covered a lot of basic things, but also we never know what's basic, what's not. For some people, it's very different. Our starting points are very different. So please let me know what was helpful for you.
Yeah, and also saying that the Luma also sends out an automatic poll the next day about how was this. So it would be great for everyone to fill that out for us so that we can learn about what you guys loved. One of the things we actually picked up that people say is they love screen sharing. That's why we started implementing that.
Only if it works.
Yeah, so we've actually learned from that. Someone said in the Q&A, one of the best tips they got was downloading your whole history and analyzing it with AI to see if it matches what you're aiming for. It's a pretty good idea. Someone said to use the downloaded data. Yes. And then someone said, I really like the context capturing system and workflow. I guess that was the Notion side of it. So yeah, I would love for everyone to please fill in the poll or the form you would get tomorrow about whether me and Daria did a good job. Please fill that in. We would love your feedback on that. Thanks. Okay. Then Daria, thank you for this. It was amazing. And please, you're in Berlin. Please come to the campus and come say hi.
Very close. You would not believe how close I am.
Then please come have a coffee here. Come to the 3rd floor. It's the best coffee.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for joining us all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.